everybody? Brad Logan here with Jake Thompson here on the Talk of Champions podcast. And Jake, another day and another opportunity for Ole Miss to do something they hadn't done since 2022.
Yeah, no, sorry there. Your laptop was about to take a tumble, but they did what they had to do last night, which was get that first game. I think that was the only path for them to win this regional was win the first one, and then rely on Cade and Taylor Rabe today and Cade Townsend tomorrow to get one out of the next two. If your back was against the wall after losing last night with those two, I think the pressure would have been a lot. I mean, this atmosphere was pretty loud last night, but I mean, they kept the crowd out of it. But if they had won, it would be a whole different environment right now. I think even an hour before first pitch. So they did what they needed to do to put themselves a chance to go back for the first time since 2022.
What is the key today for Ole Miss? Obviously, the situation with Taylor Rabe coming in to pitch. Mike very adamantly last night, the last question, we knew what it was going to be with Taylor Rabe going to the mound. You know, last night I think it went to script about as well as it could have. Today, what are you anticipating from the mound?
Yeah, no, I think you got to have Taylor Rabe that showed up in that sixth inning in Nebraska last week with that, where he gutted out. The pitch comb's messing up at least twice, maybe three times. The crowd getting into it, bases loaded, and he got strikeouts and got out of it. You need that mentality of a Taylor Rabe from inning one to however far he can go. And if you're on this, you hope he gets you to the seventh inning, because I'm guessing it's probably J.P. Robertson first out, maybe Will Libbert, and then from there, this is just me throwing it out. It's probably not even close to anybody's radar, but if they're up and comfortably, do you get Cade Townsend loose to where he comes in on the back end to shut the door and not have to play tomorrow at all? I don't think that's on anybody's bingo card, but it's something I've just thought about. Is that a possibility if the score is well enough in hand that they can bring him in today?
I think anything's on the table. And you know, I think if you were to pin down Mike and Joel, they would say we would like to at least, if there's no game three, to get Cade Townsend some work for Omaha. But that would be a really good problem to have.
Well, because the way Omaha is set up, you're playing two separate regionals, so there's a day off in between your games. So Cade wouldn't pitch for a very long time if they don't need him today. Whatever, game three would be in Omaha if they can get to a game three. So, yeah, that's why I thought Mike doesn't like, as you said, to have a pitcher, a starter, not throw for a long time. So, like I said, we got to get to that point. And first is Taylor Rabe, and you need his best stuff today. The best he's got, you need it today.
What has made this team so special this year? You've been to every game. What is special about this team versus maybe 22 or 14 or maybe 23, the bat team?
Well, the weird thing is, I don't know if there is that special thing, because Ole Miss has been a tournament team all year. The only bubble they were on was the host bubble, and went away from that. So it's not like they were the worst team, one of the worst teams in the SEC, and you lose to Vandy at midnight in Hoover, and you figure you're done. You thought you might need a new coach in a week. So it's weird in that regard, where this isn't an awful team, but they hadn't been that super duper team. Except for maybe spurts in April. So it's one of those where it's a team that you've seen can beat those good teams. They've beaten Georgia, they've beaten Alabama, they've beaten an Auburn, and they've beaten other top teams. And we saw what they did against an offense like ASU last weekend, and went 3-0 and looked good. So I think it is a special story for this team, but I think it's mostly special for individual people like Judd and Will, who got so close last year to get to this round, couldn't get it done. And you come back and you have the opportunity. You got Hunter Elliott, who worked his butt off last night, grinded those 4 and the third innings to give himself a chance to get back to Omaha for a second time in a career, which, that's hard for people to say they've done. And Kate and Hunter put his team and himself in the position to say he'll get to go to Omaha twice.
Is it crazy to say that Mike gave the ball to Hunter last night, and just a little bit maybe that he deserved it?
Yeah, it's a respect thing. Yeah. And Mike's not wavered from his Friday guy all year. Hunter's been his Friday guy the past 2 years. Would have been his Friday guy every year, but if he hadn't gotten hurt and however long, that's just how Mike is. But I think he also sees the value in what Taylor has become and how good Cade can be if he's on his A game, to where you've got 3 guys that could probably be as Friday guys somewhere else on 3 different teams. So I think that also helps in going, all right, if Hunter struggles, doesn't have his stuff, which has been kind of the case more times than not this year, you've got 2 studs on the mound that can get you back into the weekend series opportunity. So I think that's also helped not pull that trigger.
What do you think happens today?
You know, and you can tell me what your interpretation was, but it felt like Butch was trying to convince himself that this is still a series. What it is still a series. I mean, this is not over by any stretch.
Right.
But it felt like to me in the moments right after the game that he was trying to convince himself and his players tomorrow's not the last day of their season. And
sounded like it.
And that was weird to me because like I just said, they're a good team. Look what they did last week. They lost and then went 4-1 the rest of the regional. So they've been here before. So it was weird to see that kind of mood and mentality from a team that is competent and really good to level this series. But no, I think Rave has a good day. I'll be curious to see how this offense does, if they can carry that over from last night. You know, they got 10 hits. It was 10 hits that were peppered around, so it didn't feel like they had a great game altogether. But Judd with that monster shot, Colin with that, I don't think I've seen him hit one dead center or caught or not caught at all year, and got that home run. And Braid Rambo is just turning into Derek Jeter and Mr. June in May with how he's been playing so far. So you've got the recipe there for them to get this done today, but it's going to be a tough challenge. It's going to be a long 3 hours for them.
To me, it was it's a situation where I think Butch understands. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if you defer or the miss, but I think he knows that his long-range pitching staff is better than Ole Miss's, and he knows that if they get to Game 3, it's probably going to favor Auburn. But he's got to win today or it's over. I think that's why the first game last night was so big, because I firmly believe the path for Ole Miss is to win the first 2.
Yeah, no,
that's what I've always thought.
Yeah, you got, if you're Ole Miss, you burn through Calhoun, you burn through Hooks probably till tomorrow. Would I be surprised to see number 19 set it up in the bullpen at some point today? No. Right. But he threw 32 pitches, which is a lot for a spot, a reliever like that. And so I don't think you have him today. So you've got Waters, you've got J.P. Robertson, you've got Will Lipper.
Did Hooks come close tonight?
That's what I'm saying. I think it depends on the situation.
Right.
I don't think
if it's 3-2 in the ninth.
I think there's 3 other names you'll see first.
I agree. I agree with that.
Unless it's a really close back and forth and Mike just does it. But I just don't think Hooks has been effective pitching twice a weekend, and especially a back-to-back day. So I think he's low on the list of their names they have for tonight.
I know you got to get back up top. Tell me what's going on at the Ole Miss Spirit, kind of what the live thread, and tell me what's going on about what people can see at omspirit.com, an affiliate of On 3.
Yeah, we got that QR code right above my head there. We'll get you to it, but I think we've got a new summer sale, half off a year subscription for new subscribers only, new members. If you've never been a member, this will work for you. Half off your first year, and it gets you the message board, all our stories, your podcasts, and I think it also gets you, you links it up with a year subscription of The Athletic, so you can read some national stuff as well. So it's a great deal. It's lasting at least through July. I think both June and July, but I know for sure it works right now. So yeah, half off to get everything we've been talking about.
Hold on just a second. He's Jake Thompson. We appreciate him joining us. He's got to go back up top. Jake, we'll talk to you. Maybe we'll talk to you after the game. We'll try to have a pretty good sized post-game show. We'll have plenty to talk about. Thanks, Jake.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brett.
He's Jake Thompson. Appreciate him joining us here on the Talk of Champions podcast. Caleb Saylor is coming up here in just a moment. We couldn't do what we do without all of our friends and all of our sponsors. We appreciate all of you watching. But today's coverage all of it is brought to you by our friends at the College Corner Store, your home for Ole Miss merchandise. Call them today, 662-550-4330. Online at collegecornerstore.com. Be sure to go by and see them in their auction location. It's, of course, right down from the right down from the Kroger, across 7 there. And you know everybody knows who the quote new Wendy's is. That's where you can catch all of the gear at the College Corner Store. On your left, right past Chick-fil-A in Oxford. We welcome in Caleb Saylor's here. Caleb does a great job covering Ole Miss for Super Talk. And Caleb, last night was wild.
Yeah, great environment here at Plainsman Park. What Butch Thompson has done with this Auburn job is nothing short of spectacular, Brad. I mean, people were here excited to cheer for the Tigers. You had people in this parking garage on the left field side just packed out. People, I mean, even in the Raptors at the Jordan-Hare Stadium. I mean, it's what you want college baseball to look like environment-wise. But, Ole Miss kind of answered the bell, never trailing in this game. I mean, Judd Utermark hits a ball to the moon. Colin Reuter hits one, and Braden Randall with good situational hitting. And then the pitching in the back end was really good. I thought Ole Miss was as well managed as I've seen all season last night.
What did you take away from the press conference last night? You wouldn't know if Ole Miss won by 100 or lost by 100 with Mike Bianco, but it felt like to me that when Mike was talking about, I don't want to say it was a relief, but I truly believe, Caleb, that winning the first game definitely helps Ole Miss. And I understand the numbers standpoint, but Ole Miss needs this in two. In Auburn feels like if they were going to win it, it feels like to me they've got to win in three, but it feels like they had a better opportunity to win it in three coming into the series.
Absolutely, and especially with Hunter Elliott not having his best stuff last night, but still finding a way to gut through it. I mean, Auburn had bases loaded in the second and third inning and only got one run out of that, and Hunter did his job until Hudson Calhoun came and got what Mike Bianco kind of attributed as the turning point of the game, those 2 outs there in the fifth, and then Ole Miss kind of managed the rest of the way, even with the solo shot in the ninth. I do think last night with Ole Miss winning was kind of the, I guess, pivotal point of this super with Taylor Rade being on the mound today, because I think Rade gives Ole Miss its best chance at winning in any game.
We talked with Jake a moment ago, and I asked him specifically, you've seen this team, not necessarily this particular Ole Miss team, but this Ole Miss baseball team under Mike Bianco for a number of years.
Oh, yeah.
What makes this team different than other Mike Bianco teams, in your opinion?
That's a good question, Brad. Very, very veteran heavy, but I think a lot of it's mindset too. You've got a guy like Braden Randall last night who's saying, I don't care if there's 2 outs when I go up at bat. I treat it like there's no outs at all. And I'm swinging like there's 0 outs just trying to get on base. And the kind of the thing that he said there that stood out to me was, you put the ball in play and good things happen. That's kind of a generic quote right there, kind of a cliche, but it makes sense. I mean, who's been a hotter hitter right now than him? But it's guys like that willing to step up. I mean, who would have had on their bingo card Colin Reuter hitting one of the big home runs last night? So I think it's guys stepping up, playing good baseball when it matters. Taylor Rade being as good as he's been. And then last week, J.P. Robertson stepped up too. And so I think a little bit of that. I don't necessarily think it's anything different about this team per se. It's just guys are stepping up when they need to.
This has a big-time atmosphere, obviously. Last night, this place was absolute zoo. Mike Bianco talked about it. I mean, as we look across the way, all the general seating, the wall out there, it's really cool. In the world of college baseball, and you've been watching a lot of baseball last week, this week, the regionals, the super regionals, is this the hottest college baseball has been in our lifetime?
I can't imagine a time where it's been hotter in our lifetimes. And you see a place like Auburn where they're having to add extra seating just for these games, and they're selling out. I mean, there might be a record broken again tonight for this crowd. And so, yeah, I mean, and you look across the landscape. I mean, West Virginia has had these incredible atmospheres. Kansas last week had a really cool atmosphere. Nebraska, I mean, wow, what a cool atmosphere there in Lincoln. I think college baseball may be peaking right now, I mean, for lack of a better word. And it is really nice to see. It's a sport that I've grown up watching my whole life. I've always been interested. Some of my buddies hadn't been interested growing up, and now they're watching and saying, whoa, this is cool. Look at the Green Monster at Auburn. Look at this atmosphere.
You know, we had a chance to visit with one of the coaches earlier today, and they made mention of that Nebraska regional about, I said, was the earpiece or was the thing that Taylor had, was it malfunctioning? He says, no, Brad, he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
It was that loud. One thing I found interesting, too, is one of the parents told me last night is, Caleb, as you know, across the way, you can see all of the parents sit across the way on the left-hand side. For people that are at home, the Ole Miss dugout is right over there. So the players, in years past, for road regionals, the fans of that team sit above their dugout. Not here.
Not here.
Oddly enough, some of the players had told their parents, we felt like in the 5th and 6th inning when it got loud, we looked across the way, we saw our fans, and that gave us a jolt of energy. I found that pretty fascinating. I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and when you see Tristan Becerra make the game-winning catch last night, I mean, you hear roar of the crowd, and you look across, the media, we're seated across, too, from the Ole Miss fans, and I just hear this loud, thunderous applause, and I see everybody cheering up, all the hotty-toddy cheers breaking out, and it had to have given them a boost, right? I mean, how could it not have given these fans, or the players, rather, a boost to see their families, their fans here supporting them when tickets were not easy to come by in this regional. They're on social media, Brad. They see this. They see how much tickets cost and how the Ole Miss allotment was little, but to hear that many hottie toddies cheering out, to see that many people standing up and cheering. I mean, that has to be kind of instill a sense of confidence that we'll see if that carries into today.
What do you think is going to happen today?
Brad, it's a good pitching matchup. I think who Auburn has on the bump is both of them. I think if Sanders comes in a relief, I mean, they've got two guys that are just as good as anybody in the league, but I think Taylor Rave has proven to be one of the best pitchers in college baseball of late. And so, I think Ole Miss is going to strike while the iron's hot. I had a gut feeling about it going into the Super that, if Ole Miss gets game one, I mean, I think they're going to win it. So I think Ole Miss is going to gut one out. I'd say like a 5-4, 5-3 type of ball game.
What's the Twitter handle, Caleb?
Caleb Sailors, STM.
It's part of Super Talk Mississippi. Does a great job covering not just Ole Miss baseball, but a lot of news. And you also go to supertalk.fm for that website, and then it's at Supertalk MS.
Supertalk.fm.
Supertalk.fm, and then Supertalk. I was trying to think, what's the X handle?
Super Talk News for us.
I got you. Super Talk News. Great follow. Caleb, thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to let you swap out with Sam back there. Sam Hutchins of the Clarion Ledger is going to join us here on the Talk of Champions pregame show. Our pregame festivities today are brought to you by our good friends at the College Corner Store. The College Corner Store is your stop for all things Ole Miss. We appreciate Scott and his entire team. You can go online to collegecornerstore.com or give them a call today, 662-550-4330, or go by and see them in their Oxford location. That's, of course, located just past Kroger, just past the Mexican restaurant in Northeast Oxford, just past Chick-fil-A on the left. That's where it is, and that's where you can get all of your Ole Miss apparel. I'm going to bring Sam Hutchins in here. Sam, good to see you. Some car trouble today?
Yeah, we found out people in Opelika are nice because two separate people stopped to make sure we were all right and help us out while the roadside assistance was coming. So it's a real heart of the South down here. Real nice people.
Sam Hutchins, follow him on X at @SamHutchins_. Follow all of his coverage of Ole Miss, that he does a fantastic job. Sam, I have to plug a quick story. You visited with someone in the stands, tell me about that.
Well, Stephanie and Dom Decker, Dom's parents.
Yeah.
If you Google Stephanie's name, it'll come up as, wow, like they've met President Biden. They've been all over ABC News. What happened? And yeah, they have an amazing family story that's rooted in tragedy where their home in Indiana in 2012 was leveled by a tornado. Stephanie was covering Dom and his sister in the tornado, and as that was happening, she was crushed by some debris and lost both of her legs. But she's just an amazing woman, and she now runs a foundation where she helps people out to live with physical disabilities, and what she's done and the strength that she's carried on to the Decker family has been amazing. They're a real cool group of people.
We see Keith Carter over my left shoulder talking to a lot of the fans and shaking hands and doing what an AD does, Sam. And this is a situation where I did not anticipate more than 50 or 60 Ole Miss fans, and I was very wrong.
You're wrong, Brad.
There were maybe 1,000 Ole Miss people here, and there may be more. It's an incredible crowd. One thing, Sam, I pointed out to Caleb. I talked to a parent last night, and the visiting crowd section is across the way, and they said some of the players saw some of that during the 5th and 6th inning and kind of gravitated toward that, kind of gave them some extra enthusiasm. It was a big night for Ole Miss, and I think Mike Bianco, I don't want to say is relieved that game one is in their pocket, but he looked very much pleased with the effort last night.
And for it to come through Hunter Elliott, who, if you're just looking at the stats, if it's like robots, Hunter's been the shakiest guy lately. And for it to come through Hunter, and Hunter didn't have his best stuff, but he gritted through a win, got some big double plays, done what he's done in his career, which is get outs, keep Ole Miss in ball games, and he's now 6-0 career starting in the postseason. So kind of an incredible stat for Hunter Elliott, and for this huge win with the record crowd to jump out 1-0 in a super regional early. Like the stats all bear that out. Incredible advantage.
It felt like everything went to script yesterday with Hunter Elliott, with Hudson Calhoun, and then finishing up with Walker Hooks. Today, what are you kind of anticipating? Do you expect, if Taylor Rave can go, let's hypothetically say he's good for 6 or 7 innings, do you go to J.P. Robertson at that point?
Yeah, that makes sense to me, and then maybe Hooks in the 9th again, something like that. But yeah, and that's the thing about Rave, Brad. Rave has been able to go long in his last 2 starts. I had to look this up on the card right here. Over his last 12 innings, he's given up 1 earned run. So he's been putting up those starts where I think the beauty in that is, you assume that Auburn's bats heat up. They've been great. They've been averaging something like double-digit runs in the regional. But what that would do is it would allow you to have a solid bullpen for a potential game 3, because you don't need to win this game, So any way that you can save arms and Bianco will have the choice. Do you push all the chips in for today, or kind of recuperate and try to build an advantage for tomorrow if that's necessary? Winning game 1 gives you a lot of options.
Is there a situation to where if this team is up 6-1 in the 8th inning, that Cade Townsend comes in and gets a little work before Omaha?
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I would probably lean away from that just because Chase Fralick's been amazing. If anyone, I'm sure the fine folks watched the Mississippi State game where, runs are just crazy, and maybe I think you save Cade for potentially tomorrow either way, and just keep that safe. But like we saw Hunter Elliott come in and pitch a bullpen inning last year in the Game 7 of the regional, so nothing's ever off the table when you have a chance to get to Omaha.
What is the perfect scenario for Ole Miss to win the game today offensively? We've talked a lot about pitching. Let's talk about offense for a moment. What do you anticipate Ole Miss the best thing they can do offensively?
Yeah, Will Furness is kind of a guy that jumps out to me. He was great in the regional, and just him going 0 for 5 was abnormal. So I think you get guys like Will going. I think you get a home run from Becerra or Foley, just like you got one from Udemark and Reuter. So let's call that the recipe. You get a home run from one of your home run engines, whether it's Judd or Becerra or someone or Foley, and then you get a home run from an unexpected source, like a Reuter or maybe Braden Randall or Dom Decker or someone like that. I think you got to hit more home runs in Auburn again, and you're in a great spot.
What do you think about this stadium? It was pretty rocking last night. It's my first time to come here, but it's a really cool stadium.
It's so much fun. This may be way off, but I sort of felt like, man, I've never been to like the Dominican Republic or something to watch the game, but just with the atmosphere of people are kind of hanging out of the parking garage, and people
are everywhere.
People are lining up anywhere there's a window. There were a couple of people on top of the football stadium, just kind of peeking over. Anywhere you can get an angle, you want to be here to watch this game. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. Just like, hey, if you can find a little window to peek through into Plainsman Park, you're going to try to do it. It's really cool.
I don't know if this is a good question or not, but I'm going to ask it anyway. With the success this baseball team is having, specifically in the latter part, if it can get to Omaha, does this just continue to rejuvenate and galvanize a fan base for an upcoming football season that's going to be off the charts? At least it's going to start off that way.
Here's the way I look at it. I think that's a fine question. Yeah, I get it. And since Florida, remember the Florida game, Brad? The football game, the Lane game, all that?
Yeah.
Since Florida, you could argue that Ole Miss has been the most successful program in the nation, I think, in a college athletics Division I setting.
Can you elaborate?
And, with the baseball went into a super regional, you obviously had one of the best 4 football programs in the country. Your basketball team struggled, but they got hot. They made some waves. The women's basketball team was a top seed again. It is just, as the beat reporter lifestyle, I guess you throw in, you got a huge win in court, right? So you've been one of the preeminent national programs just in the last 9 months. And if you can carry that over through the summer in the last sporting event, of the year, which is the College World Series, you just continue to stack that on.
And I've got to ask a football question. Nick Saban obviously took aim at Ole Miss over both Trinidad Chambliss and the tampering allegations with Luke Farrelly. Is this, this is speculation, maybe educated, what have you. Is Nick still mad over the 14-15 back-to-back losses to Ole Miss?
I'm amazed that Nick Saban would have anything to be mad about with just how much success his career has been, and so amazing. But every college coach will tell you they remember the losses more than the wins. I've heard that from quite a few people.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that stick with you, are the losses. So, you know what, maybe.
Sam Hutchins does a great job covering the Clarion Ledger. What angles are we looking for story-wise today?
Yeah.
What are you kind of thinking? And what are some specials you might be working on for maybe some other sports?
Yeah, big picture, I tend to go in the big picture if I'm thinking about something like this, where all of a sudden you could be back in Omaha, and I'm interested to talk to the guys like Judd Udemark and Will Furness, who were in the freshman in the 23 class. So they came in after a national championship, and all they've heard are the stories, Tim Elko, don't let the Reds get hot. And this is their last ride to make a run like that. So that's kind of who I'm most fascinated with, is the guys that came in and heard all about it, but are seeking in their last chance a shot to make their ultimate mark here.
Hey, Sam Hutchins will get back to work upstairs. He does a great job covering Ole Miss athletics and, among other things, for the Clarion Ledger. Follow him online on socials at Sam Hutchins _. Sam, thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Anytime, yep.
We appreciate all of you joining us here. All of our coverage today is brought to you by our friends at the College Corner Store. Scott and his entire team do wonderful work. We appreciate everything that Scott does, and our friends at the College Corner Store, our title presenting sponsor, bringing you wall-to-wall coverage from here in Auburn, Alabama. We appreciate everybody for jumping on today. It's been an incredible ride, and we're efforting one of our friends, Micah Boutel, to join us here. And we'll speak to him here in just a moment as we wrap up here our pregame show here from Plainsman Park and Hitchcock Field. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see what happens here in Game 2. Mike Bianco said earlier it will be Taylor Rave. It will be who getting the ball today. Now, I ask everybody that walked up here with us today, whether it be Jake Thompson, whether it be Caleb Sailors, or whether it be Sam Hutchins, what would you do? What would you do if you had that opportunity? What would you do for number 2? What would you do for number 3? And I think J.P. Robertson would be, honestly, the person that you might think of to go next out of the pen. But once again, you've got a Cade Townsend. You've got an opportunity that you could bring him in. You've got an opportunity for, if you can get a big enough lead, then you start thinking about excuse me while I'm working on these commercials here. Or could it be a situation where you go to J.P. Robertson, then maybe close with Walker Hooks? Let's hear from all of our sponsors, and then we'll hear from Micah Boutel as we're live here from Hitchcock Field in Auburn, Alabama. Ole Miss is looking to win the series and go to Omaha for the first time since 2020.
Homes and businesses from the whims of nature, you need more than just quality materials. You require Riverland Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, Riverland Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what Riverland Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
Hey, Rebels, your truck is here. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford presents the all-new Ram Rebel. It's Ram, the Rebel way. Send an unmistakable signal. Rebel 24/7. Ram Rebel from your friend in the car business. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford.
Come by, let's be friends. I'm Warrior Philip Hearn. Raising my family here in Mississippi, I've tried to teach my kids to help others. I learned that from my parents. And as a Mississippi lawyer, I want to help you too. If you're hurt in a traffic accident, 18-wheeler wreck, or have insurance trouble, call 601-720-3541. That's my cell. You call, I'll answer. Let's get started. Make your first call to the Hearn Law Firm today.
And we welcome you back to Plainsman Park. Micah Boutel, who does a great job covering college baseball for College Baseball Central. You kind of travel all over the place. Exactly. Welcome to Auburn. Tell me a little bit about where have you been?
Yeah, so I was at Troy yesterday. We'll go to Alabama tomorrow. We're trying to hit all 3 big ones here, and then If it works out Monday, I'll actually be at Kansas. So we might hit 4 of the 16 super regionals. So that'll be pretty neat.
What's the best place to follow all of your work?
So on Twitter, or X, I guess you could call it now, at Micah_CBC, probably the best spot, or our College Baseball Central page.
What do you know about Auburn, and what did you think about the game last night?
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with Ole Miss. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Auburn was going to take this in 2. I just felt pretty good about how they kind of got hot down the stretch there in that Auburn Regional. But, got to give kudos to Ole Miss. Obviously, going to Lincoln and taking care of business there should have put a little bit more value into that. I think from Auburn's standpoint, right, you're kind of looking at a situation where, obviously you have the crowd behind you. They're expecting another record attendance tonight. They're going to need it because, Taylor Rapp was really, really good in Lincoln. So you get that version of him again tonight for Ole Miss. They're in a good spot.
You look at Auburn and how Butch has put his pitching staff together, one of the best staffs in the country. I think they're much suited for a 3-game series, a lot more than Ole Miss. That's why I think it's imperative for Ole Miss to win today. What are your thoughts about Auburn on the mound for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, they're set up for this, right? That's why they're able to battle back through the regional, getting in the losers bracket game 1. Everyone kind of overreacted, right? When you lose to an under 500 Milwaukee team game 1, the whole world's going to blow up about that. But they were set up to battle back through that. And obviously, Auburn, I'm not sure the exact number, but they've won every SEC series this year, minus Georgia, when they dropped game 1 and came back to win. So they've done a really good job of dropping game 1 and then winning the next 2 on the weekend. So they're kind of set up for this.
What do you like about this Ole Miss team this year that you've seen?
They're resilient. I mean, they're not as talent heavy as they've probably been in years past, but they just find ways to work really good at bats, find a way to get the clutch hit. I mean, last night's a great example, right? They jump on an Auburn team, silence this record crowd. They just do a really good job. Of course, Bianco does a great job putting together a really good team every year, but no stage is too bright for them. I think that's probably the most impressive thing because people didn't talk about it enough, but going to Lincoln, that was one of the best atmospheres in regional play, and they went in there and they quieted that fan base too.
Yeah, Mike told us in one of our media availabilities that was one of the loudest ballparks he's ever been in the 6th inning. If you'll remember, when Taylor Rave had the earpiece or trying to put it up to his ear so he could hear. Should be a lot of fun today. Before we get out of here, I want to ask you about the world of college baseball. You would know more than anybody. Is this as hot as college baseball has ever been?
I sure think so. I mean, people like me are able to travel on ballparks and people enjoy the content. So at the bare minimum, people are starting to, want to see it. I think that's what's been really neat about what I've been able to do is I try to look at it from a fan's perspective. Auburn's running a $1.25 hot dog deal right now, $2.50 beer. Like the sport as a whole, more and more people are realizing that this is the college athletics we knew and loved 5 to 10 years ago. Obviously, the athletic landscape has changed so much in the last 5 years post-COVID. But obviously, NIL plays a factor into baseball, but you still have the underdog stories. Again, you've got multiple four seeds playing right now in super regionals. We had Murray State get to Omaha last year, so I think the sport as a whole is blowing up, and that's a nice thing too. You got a league like the SEC where almost every single program is competitive on a yearly basis, so those fan bases are always bought in.
Who do you like right now? I know we saw a gem of a game about an hour ago, and Georgia and Mississippi State went toe-to-toe. Obviously, Troy is doing big things in their regional. We've seen West Virginia run roughshod over Cal Poly. I like North Carolina. I think Carolina's going to be a tough out. Who do you like out of the bracket, out of both sides?
Yeah, I'm very biased towards West Virginia. I was on them last year. I can't wait for them to officially finish off that game. They're in the weather relay right now, but I had them going to Omaha in July of last year. I just love what Steve Sabins has done with that program, building off what Maisie has built. So I think West Virginia on that side, and I live in Texas. I'm not a Longhorn, but I've seen a lot of that Texas ball club in person this year. They're just built for Omaha. So I like Texas on that other side. So Texas-West Virginia matchup's kind of what I'm starting to kind of envision for the finals.
Are you headed to Omaha?
I am, yes, sir.
Tell me what's special about teams getting to play in Omaha, and what's special about the city and about the stadium.
Absolutely. I think the best thing about it is because it doesn't change every year, the community rallies behind it. I actually lived in Nebraska for 2 years, about 2.5 hours west of a town called Kearney. And I remember making the trip every year. And even the folks in central Nebraska, western Nebraska, they make the trip over every year. They follow all the teams. They always adopt teams. It's always great. Like, last year we had fans of Louisville. They were Louisville fans because when the first time they went to Omaha for a College World Series was 2018 when they made a run. So they just adopted Louisville because they live in western Nebraska, and the closest team to them is the Huskers, 8 hours away. So the community out there really rallies behind it. I mean, I mean, the entire city shuts down. It's college baseball central. So if you love college baseball, I mean, you have to experience it at least once.
I know you liked Auburn coming into the series after last night. How do you think today goes?
I've never seen Auburn lose in person. They're 6-0 all the time. So not great for Ole Miss.
This is not good for my audience, Micah.
I know. I'm so sorry. So, you know, I'm going to say Auburn wins today, but if that means anything, I'll make sure. I'm not going to be here tomorrow, Ole Miss fan, so that's at least a great thing. You're not guaranteed to get eliminated if that happens, but yeah, I think it's going to be a really good one. I mean, again, you get the version of Taylor Rapp. The way Auburn is kind of tensed up in situations in postseason play, Ole Miss is playing with house money. So I like the chances of them, if they get on them early, to win this one.
Micah Butel does a great job covering college baseball for College Baseball Central. Micah, once again, tell us where everybody can follow your work. You do a wonderful job.
Absolutely. So you can find me Micah_CBC on Twitter and Instagram as well. Instagram for just landscape shots of ballparks I go to. But again, appreciate you having me on. And
well, I'll be honest with you. One of the best shots I got yesterday was the top of the green monster. That's a beautiful shot. Micah, thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yep, Micah Butel does a great job with college baseball. He does a great job covering the sport. Micah, thanks a lot.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
As we come to you, we're getting ready to close things up here from Plainsman Park and Hitchcock Field. Boy, this is it's been a wild time. I want to show you real quick to give you a little bit of a look back on what I was referring to. As we take our camera over this way, bear with me. As you look over here to this way, and you look, if you can see up top where the Ole Miss fans are sit, this is the Ole Miss dugout. As you can see, as Ole Miss is getting ready, they're getting warmed up here. There's the Ole Miss dugout. So you can see across the way, that's where the Ole Miss fans are. And you can see all across, there are people everywhere here inside the stadium. An absolute beautiful ballpark here at Hitchcock Field as the fans are really pouring in. As once again, we appreciate our friends at College Corner Store and the College Corner for being proud sponsors here on the Talk of Champions. As we get ready to close out here from the stadium, Ben Garrett will be with me at the end of the game as we'll have a huge post-game show for you. And we invite you to all come back and see us as it is absolutely slam-packed here inside the stadium. Once again, College Corner Store, thanks again. As we'll hear from our commercials one more time, and we'll come back here for Plainsman Park. Brad Logan here inside a jam-packed Plainsman.
Than just quality materials, you require Riverland Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, Riverland Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what Riverland Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
Hey, Rebels, your truck is here. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford presents the all-new Ram Rebel. It's Ram, the Rebel way. Send an unmistakable signal. Rebel 24/7. Ram Rebel from your friend in the car business. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford.
Come by, let's be friends.
I'm Warrior Philip Hearn. Raising my family here in Mississippi, I've tried to teach my kids to help others. I learned that from my parents. And as a Mississippi lawyer, I want to help you too. If you're hurt in a traffic accident, 18-wheeler wreck, or have insurance trouble, call 601-720-3541. That's my cell. You call, I'll answer. Let's get started. Make your first call to the Hearn Law Firm today.
One last time here from Plainsman Park at Hitchcock Stadium, Hitchcock Field. Beautiful facility and a terrific crowd here. Couldn't do what we do without our friends at the College Corner Store. We appreciate all of you joining us here on the pregame show. We'll be with you with full coverage at the end of the game. Remember, Jake Thompson was on here earlier. He had a ton of content that's already right now on the Ole Miss Spirit. That's an affiliate of On 3. You can catch it right now at the Ole Miss Spirit. That's omspirit.com. Jay, thank you very much for joining us. Caleb Sailors from Super Talk, Mississippi joined us, and Sam Hutchins of the Jackson Player and Ledger joined us. Follow all of them on social channels. We appreciate all of you joining us on our pregame show. Postgame coming after the end of the game. Ole Miss wins 6-4 last night. They've got an opportunity to punch their ticket to Omaha in the College World Series coming up right here in Auburn, Alabama. Full coverage on the Talk of Champions and full coverage on the Ole Miss Spirit. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.